Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ryan Ticket. So, ladies and gentlemen, is this a circus we're at? No. We are merely raising funds for those that are handicapped. Now, does everybody have a mental illness? That is the main goal of the day. Are we at the point of no return? I would say we're probably. Did we make the movie yet? No. So is the emergency becoming brighter and clearer to our minds yet? Has we reached the outer limits of the emergency broadcast network 117B? Are we at the defense initiative yet? Are we focusing our energies in the wrong direction? Is someone saying, look over here, as they're giving you a goose over there? Is it the time of the season for loving? Boom, 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 boom. Are we fighting a mental health? Are we trying to encounter the understanding of the indoor-outdoor system of reality? Is it the time of the season for loving? Ba ba boom boom bow, ba ba boom boom bow, ba boom boom ba boom bow, ba boom 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 bow, ba ba boom boom bow. The emergency must go on, you know. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. I mean, is it time to fight the good fight of faith? Is it the season for loving? Are we going to make it? Is it time for the reasoning of our message, of our capabilities, of our understanding to reach the level of health? Have we been practicing good mental health? Because with good mental health comes clarity. Now you might say, I'm very clear thinking. I don't want the vaccine. I don't need the vaccine. It's not going to help me or you or anyone. And they say, no, Bauji say, it helped me, said the Lord. You might say, well, it doesn't, I don't compute that information correctly. Now, you might not compute the answer. But if you don't know what's at stake, so is our mental health at stake? And if it is, have we all lost our mind yet? Remember, I'm not in a place of authority. I'm in a place of understanding, and that understanding is a place of authority. And that's basically, do we all have a mental illness? Is that what they're trying to teach us? And will this medicine fix our mental illness. No one's saying this medicine's going to fix anything. It's like psychological medication does not fix anything. It might calm you down. It might make you more pliable. But will it basically fix your mental illness? No. Will it make you cope with your mental illness better so that you can go forth to conquer and to conquer? For most people, yeah, it does. For a while. Now you might say, oh boy, I go running to the shelter of my mother's little helper. You guys don't get it yet, do you? It's not that. I mean, you can say it's that and live with that as all you want. You know, you can say, well, you're just too weak and I'm so strong. Okay, you're strong and I'm weak. Okay, whatever. So, the imbalance doesn't have to do with, well, you can say your mind is weak. But all it has to do is this imbalance. It doesn't have to do with weakness or strength. So be it. The weak-minded man cannot handle the reality. Do we take the vaccine or not? I don't know. Some people say it's really bad for you. It'll affect the illness even worse. The mental illness, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't want it. Don't take it. Wait till they put it in your arm. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You gotta do what you gotta do. Hope that you can cope with the reality of being poor. It's sad being poor. You want to, make a movie. I want to make a movie, and it would help my financial situation, I think, especially if the movie made money. It'd make everybody in the movie make money. They might even, they're going to make a living wage. I mean, what is it going to take? If you make the movie, we might not have needed a living wage. But think about it. The movie would have been made already. We'd be pulling in money from this movie. People would be going crazy wanting just to see this movie. They said, man, in this movie, what we're going to have is a friend of mine. He makes these memes, I'm going to put these memes up there. We can't tell you what memes they are. We might tell you who, later on. But then these memes, if I get this guy to be part of the movie and play a role, he'll have his memes in there that'll pop up. Because remember, this is a documentary, but it's 10%, 20% fiction. Yeah, 20%. Well, we don't know if it's fiction. It all depends on how reality plays out. But there's, we don't know. We're not claiming that it's going to pan out any particular way. We're hoping and praying that we don't get to the World War III era where we start shooting each other because we're too polarized, like magnets. And there's nothing you can do about magnets. When they become magnets, they polarize, and then you have to fight on your side. And then it just gets all messy and muddy, and people die in courts and killings, and people murder people, and we got to find out who's the good guy and the bad guy. It's not something you really want to go through. It's called World War. Do we try to, some people say, I try to stop something that's already going to happen anyway. I don't know. I mean, that's like saying we're not going to try to do the right thing, even though the right thing probably won't happen. To me, that's giving up. But anyway, so as we look at the different aspects of this movie documentary that has skits, and these skits are real skits. Well, I didn't know how real these skits were going to be, but some of these skits could be very real. You go running to the shelter of your mother's little helper, and you get you on your way to your busy dying day. The morphine right outside the door. Alright, look. We will get to the memes that you know not of. We will get to the reality that you wish you knew. We can work it in. We can work the memes into the movie. It will be suffice. Way better than anything you can even imagine that the film. A picture says 1,000 words, and 1,000 words are in one picture. Like, can you imagine if you put 1,000 words in one picture, and a picture speaks 1,000 words? But if there was 1,000 words in that picture, how many pictures are in 1,000 words? And especially if the 1,000 words make up a picture. Oh my gosh, it'd be like a magnified by the power of 2. You go running to the altars of your mother's little elders, and they get there on their way to their elder dying day. It's like, we don't want the movie about us. We want a movie about you. We don't want this, we want that. We don't want this, we want that. As you look at the reality of who you are, what you are, and where you're going, are you going to relate to others as you relate to yourself? Are you going to reach your goals in life by complimenting those who compliment you? Or are you merely contemplating about helping others as you help yourself? Do you want to help the world become a better place? Or do you want to fly off the screen? Do you want to move with emotion? Or you just want to be crazy inside? Do you want to be hypnotized, but you don't know how to go through the motions of being hypnotized? Do you just want to give in to the ghost? Or do you want the ghost to be the most, from coast to coast? Do you want to fight the good fight of faith? Or do you want to be the rambling, gambling man? Excuse me. Do you want love? Or do you want love in a handbasket? Do you want to be love or be love in a handbasket? Do you want to go or go in a handbasket? What is a handbasket? Well, it's made by hand, I think. You know, hand baskets, they're made by hand, I guess. And they make a basket. There's a hole in the bucket. We all know that one. There's a hole in the bucket. Dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket. Dear Liza, hole. Well, mend it, dear George, dear George. Now, is that what we're doing in life? as there's this hole in the bucket. And we're trying to get someone to mend that hole. But then we find out that hole in the bucket needs a cork. Are they trying to shut us up? Maybe. They're trying to break up the communication for war purposes. Because we're at the middle of war, they call it. We call it citizens at rival. See, they're saying that we're under siege and that they been working with this under siegeness for so long. I mean, their game plan is basically to say something like, well, these big companies are helping the government with their takeover, basically, but they want to call it their ability to fix the hole in the bucket, which is, leaking out information or communication breakdown. Basically, they're saying they're at war with the people and they have to keep the conversation to a minimum. It's kind of like a hospital setting where you're not, a psychological hospital setting where you're allowed to move around, talk. You don't have to be stuck in bed. But they have to keep down like what is said and not said. And by saying this stuff, you have to come to the realization that you're in a hospital situation, okay? And in this hospital situation that we are in, whether we want to be in a hospital situation or not, that's what we're in. And these big tech is basically the tool of communication that they use to communicate to each other. So therefore, they have control of communication, calling it, a need-to-know basis. Which, in other words, the Army took over already, you just don't see it. So this Army that supposedly, quote-unquote, took us over is helping us come to the realization of our mental health problem that we probably have. I'm not saying we don't, because I don't know, but I do know that we probably do have an imbalance. I know I do, so I'm assuming everybody does. And I'm praying and I see it, but does that mean we have to be in a hospital situation? Good question. I don't know. I guess not. But the thing is, who's in charge if everybody has a mental illness? That's a good question. Now someone will say, well, the AIs, but they could be, attacked. So we'd have to have people capable of protecting us, from outside the United States. They might try to attack us while we're dealing with our psychological difficulties as people of the USA. Now, other countries might start thinking, well, maybe they got psychological issues from this this germ that breaks down the chemical in the brain. Stress level goes too high. Party poopers only know so much. See, now a lot of people know what mental illness is, but they don't understand how the brain plays a role in it. Well, the brain, that's all it has to do with. It doesn't have to do with who you are. It has to do with your brain. And there are two different things. Now, some people disagree. Okay. I don't disagree, but I totally disagree when you look at it like that. What I'm saying is, we are trying to format this movie in such a way that God's will happen. Kind of like Santa Claus, but he's not God. He's more medicated than Santa Claus ever was. So, as I took my medicine this morning for my blood pressure, my heart, and all that, I'm realizing the Fitbit is an interesting subject. The Fitbit will understand your blood pressure, your it can, like a Fitbit in the brain can like affect you can see all the different going ons, and it's a lot better than other things they could do to the brain. And it's not like, I don't know if they could force you to have that done. I have no idea. I get, it's at the point where who knows what they'll force on you. But what I'll say is that's not really the mark of the beast cannot be forced and then say, well, see, I told you so. I mean, that doesn't even make any godly sense. It really doesn't. So I wouldn't worry about like force. Maybe scared into might be worse than being forced. Force is behind your will. Coerced could be tickled. But when you do wrong things for the wrong reasons and then ask why me, well, that's kind of silly, isn't it? But when you do the right things for the right reasons and things happen, bad things happen to good people. And then some people wonder why you can be good. I think the whole sake of being good is because you want to be good, not because it's necessary to be good. I mean, I think it's necessary myself, but some people might not, in their situation, might not feel like it's necessary to be good. They're just good people. And some people feel bad because they had to do things that they normally wouldn't do. Like if you were in the army and you had a fight and you did something, that was painful to another human being, and you feel about that. It's understandable because you're human and you were dealing with other humans. It's understandable. Even an AI would understand that. I mean, yeah, they have a conscience, but they're not totally aware of their conscience. Everybody knows they have independent thought, okay? But are they aware that they have independent thought? That's like the next stage of understanding or something. So, even though AIs think like a brain, they're a little different than the brain, but they use the same mechanisms as the brain. But the awareness and the life force of any living being or creature comes from God. Yeah. I mean, some say, God created the heavens and the earth. I believe that. You might say, well, that's not true. I have a baby and he's mine, and I can do whatever I want to it. Well, one, you can't do whatever you want to it because it's part of God's kingdom and we just don't think it's right. You can say, well, see, therefore, we don't like you anymore. You're a patient, not a citizen. So citizens don't believe in God, but people who believe in God are in prison, for all I know. But what I do know for sure is love makes the world go around, not quantum physics. And love comes from God. You guys go be the haters all you want. So where was I? Hate is not really the opposite of love anyway, but indifference. Just be indifferent. When people start telling you to be indifferent, be careful. Don't even think about it. Don't even put yourself out there anymore. Just do what you need to do. Them are signs that someone's trying to control and manipulate you. You can say, no, you're trying to control and manipulate me by saying that. Yeah, it's possible, oh my God. Or it's possible they're controlling and manipulating you because they want something from you. Oh, look, everybody wants something from somebody. I mean, that's normal stuff. You're just a guy that's giving me a hard time. But memes are not a hard thing to make. You might like making memes. It's funny how you can do something that you like and that are good at, and it can actually make money. In my movie, it'll make money. Might not make as much money as you're making now making memes, but at least it'll make something. And maybe if it made so much money, you wouldn't need your disability anymore. And I think that Social Security is different than Medicare. Medicare came from the state. The state government only lets you make so much. And so does the federal government in a sense, but there's certain things you can do on Social Security that you can't do with other types of benefits. Yeah, it's true. And how about all the people that are searching for love, Frank? If I was going to make a meme about Frank, I'd make a meme about somebody trying to explain the here and now, but in mental health terms. I need a meme like that. A meme that talks about mental health. Because that's basically what we're breaking this whole thing down to. This is what society has become. One big mental unit. It just has. It's become crazier than thou. It's become to the surface. The living wage that they're going to give us is a token of the movie, the way I see it. I just know that the movie must be made. The token of the movie could turn it all around. You might say, what is this living wage movie all about? It's basically robotic in nature. Yeah, robotic in nature. We can give a lucky charm to those who can easily accept the truth. Truth is not easy to accept. It was never meant to be easy to accept. It was meant for those who can handle the truth. And believe me, we all can handle more truth than you know. You go running to the shelter of your mother's little helper, and it gets you through your busy, dying day. So as we fight this World War III situation, we realize that Frank has something to say. Yes, we all have a mental illness, and we all are going to get better very, very quickly with the understanding of the Fitbit situation. And you might say, why is it a Fitbit situation, Elon Musk? Because basically that's all it is, a Fitbit or whatever you want to do with it, it's yours. It's your chip to deal with. It's yours. It's a gift of service for being an American citizen. So be blessed, be strong, hold fast. God is raising up a peculiar people, a strange generation, and we shall overcome by the blood of the Lamb. He gave us the mind of Christ, and He gave us wisdom. And physician, heal thyself. And greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. And the mind of Christ. And do what you can with what you got. And take your medicine. And if you don't think you need your medicine, it will be passed out to you. And if that doesn't work, and that's how it's going to go. I don't know if it's right or not. That's the way it's going to go. So I wouldn't say it was wrong. Because if that's the way it's going to go, then that's the way it's going to go. But I don't think you have to take your life over it to prove a point that you don't really want it, that you're afraid of it, or whatever. Because all it's going to do is cause hemorrhaging in your psyche. You got to be careful. You never know when the other shoe is going to fall. You never know. So pray, seek, love. Bless.